No, it didn't work. Stop. No, that didn't work. That didn't work. What did I do wrong? Doggone it. Let's see. Let's get that guy restarted. Because it should, yeah, see, that should not come right there. So let's see what we've got. Real quickly, we're just going to take a quick look in here and see in the multi-view. Yeah. Yeah. That should be right. That should be right there. Okay. Now let's check the shortcut. 1 second here, guys. Sorry about this. Fade to black. Input. Restart. Fade. Fade to black. Well, that's just wild. Stop recording. Yeah. Script start. What is that? Oh. Well, let's get rid of that one. Sorry about this, guys. I don't think this is going to fix it, but we'll fake it. We'll fake it. Here we go. Emergency beer to the green room. That is too much. Way too much. It worked! All right! Woo! Welcome! Happy New Year! I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. We're a very serious show. We are so serious, let me tell you. I am delighted that you're here. I'm delighted it's another new year, 2018, all full of promise and hope and all good things. So I hope that's how you're looking at it. I am, at least I was until I got the news last night that there's some just deep flaw in every Intel chip, every Intel CPU that's been manufactured in the last 10 years that makes it vulnerable to some cyber attack that's going to take over the world and pitch us back into the dark ages. And the fix for it is coming out January 9th, I think, something like that, that's supposed to throttle every Intel CPU anywhere from 5 to 30%. Just when you thought it was safe to come out of the woods again. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But remember, the second Tuesday of the month is Microsoft Patch Day. And yours might happen early in the morning Tuesday or late at night Tuesday, maybe not even till Wednesday, just sort of depends on where you are. So if you've got a gig Tuesday or Wednesday, you may want to totally disable all of your Microsoft updates until such time as you can verify that it's going to work correctly and see what kind of slowdown we're going to get. Yeah, Chad is saying up to 30%, up to 30%. Wow. I hope you have more CPU than you need. Looking down here, I'm like, golly gee, we'll see. I mean, I'm dealing with an old i7 second generation quad-core processor, the 2600K, which is a good little processor. It's a screamer. And we've got it overclocked to, I don't know what, lately, 3.7 or 3.8, something like that. And we'll see how that does with this kind of upgrade and 30% less effectiveness, or up to 30%. So yeah, everybody in the chat room was like, let's don't do this. let's see if we can reject this. Let's turn back the clock, go back to 2017. But you know, you just never know. You never know what's coming down the road. And it was in pre-show, I've got Scott Pienta there in the green room kind of warming up for the show today. He's going to be our guest, and we were kind of walking through some things before the show, and you know, you just never know what you're going to get. That Microsoft has made a change, or in this case, Intel has released that they have a deep flaw in every chip they've made for CPUs in the last 10 years. Holy cow! I've got an old Dell dual core there in the corner that is at least 10 years, probably more than 10 years old. I may have to pull that out and let that start streaming. We will see. We will see. The update is going to be a Microsoft update, is what I heard. January 9th, if that's a Tuesday. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but whatever the second Tuesday is, yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. So it'll be really interesting, and you know, it'll be look at it as an adventure. Look at it as an adventure. I want to give a big shout out to all of you that are watching on YouTube or Facebook. We'd invite you to come on over to Eastern Shore Broadcasting. That is right there, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and that way you can get on the chat room, because those are the guys that are talking about this flaw right now and sharing information back and forth. And yeah, Scott says the Microsoft stock is down. Yeah, I guess so. I'd be tossing that stock too if I owned any. Maybe I do. Ooh, I better go sell it. Anyway, would love to have you guys come over to easternshorebroadcasting.com, because you can get in on the chat. That's the key. And if you want to, right to the right of the screen is a little sign up box. If you want to sign up and give us your email, we will spam you with every known piece of spam known to man. Not really. We'll just send you updates every now and then as things go on. I'm really excited about today's show because my guest is a very exciting person. Scott Pienta is the winner of the StreamCon Navigation Award, as you guys may recall from previous shows, and is also going to be the professor for our sales and marketing class that starts next Thursday. That's a week from tomorrow. So many folks have talked about, oh, you know, I want to do live streaming, but I don't know where to start getting the money rolling in. Well, Scott has put together a 6-week class. Well, let me just bring him in here. Heck, you know, we could talk about him, or we could talk to him. Scott, welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Hey, welcome, Tom. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for you didn't put Dr. Scott Pienta here. I need the DR. You know, I guess I was joking.
Really?
There's no doctor. No.
Ah, okay.
There's no doctor.
Is there a doctor in the house? No, there are no doctors in the house.
No. I figured you were just saying I was a big high professor, so I figured I should throw the DR in there, maybe, you know.
Yes.
I could just promote myself a little bit more.
Yeah. What do they call it? A doctor, but there's a Bachelor of Science, so you could be a Doctor of BS. Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly. You've been talking to my wife, haven't you?
No, I've actually talked to you on more than one occasion. No, but this class is coming up, and that's what we want to talk about today, the sales and marketing class, because so many folks have expressed frustration in not being able to, I mean, they've got the streaming skills, they've got the right equipment, but they can't get clients. And it's like it's an enigma. It's a puzzle. It's a Chinese puzzle. It's a Rubik's cube. Well, and you have the secret.
Well, I don't know about a secret. This came up in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group, and we talked. There's a few guys just frustrated that just don't seem to be able to make any sales. So I said, I'm going to do something I don't normally do, is and give some basic sales advice. I mean, there's guys in here that are probably watching this, and I'm not sure everybody who's in there, but guys that'll, if not watching it now, but later, that have great sales experience. Everybody's a salesman. Just some are better than others, and that's you got the Jim Jacobs of the world. You have a lot. Jim's been in this sales business for a long time, so selling comes naturally to him. Selling comes naturally to me. But some other guys, Scott was mentioned, and not me, but another Scott in the group that we were talking about earlier, was making comment that he just can't seem to get it together for making those sales, and that's what this course is going to be about. It's really, this course is geared to those guys. This isn't so much geared to sales for streaming altogether. It's kind of encompassing a broad outline of streaming with just a kind of a bunch of other little nooks and crannies of sales tactics in there. You know, understanding your base core. You know, that's a big one. Understanding your base and your core of your company, and you know, understanding what values your customers' values.
But hold on, understanding yourself is a hard thing to do. Because most people are not aware of their strengths and weaknesses. They think they know what they're strong at, but maybe they're wrong. Holy cow!
Right, and it is hard. It's very hard. Selling is if everybody was good at selling, you know, we'd have, you know, everybody be driving brand new cars. It's not easy to do. You know, it takes some finesse. It takes practice, just like streaming. You have to be afraid. Not have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of getting the word no, because you're going to hear it more times than you're going to hear the word yes. You know, I can't tell you how many times, even when I started my hometown media, which is originally Hillsdale TV, when I started that thing, I started on a wing and a prayer with no experience at all. You know, getting the first couple yeses right away was really good, but then I got a lot of no's right across there, and you know, you got to the point you're like, you know, is this thing really going to work? And I said, you know what?
Start doubting yourself.
You know, you start doubting what you're doing. You start doubting how you're doing things. And you know, I said, you know what? But the thing that I had is I had experience in sales, and I said, you know what? What's working right now, or how things used to sell, is not how things work right now. So what I have to do is go back to the drawing board and take those years of selling different tactics, from cars to equipment to customers' audio video to commercial buildings, whatever it was that I sold. I had to take all that and try to figure out a new tactic, because that's how we have to focus on it. You know, streaming is an evolving curve. I mean, one of my customers is an insurance company, and it's being sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Well, Auto Owners is, you know, nationwide.
Yes.
Well, Auto Owners really likes what I'm doing, and
awesome.
They're really enjoying this, and they wanted to sponsor because it's a new evolving industry. It's something new that they're wanting to understand and get. So they had no problem sponsoring. I mean, I was just talking to Pizza Hut corporate, or not Pizza Hut, Little Caesars corporate just the other day, and they have a couple different levels now. To be a national sponsor, to understand, to get a national sponsorship, I have to be able to hit all 50 of their 50 states of their stores. So that's what they're looking for when they look for a national sponsor. But I did get some valuable information from them on their state by state stores and how to move around that territory.
Is that going to be part of the class?
That's, you know, we're going to talk about it because we want to make the class that I put together. I mean, like I said, in week one we have a 6-week course. You know, the first week we really want to go into understanding your base and your core, and then we also want to follow up by the fundamentals of sales, selling techniques to and for new people. You know, so week one might not be for somebody who's already been selling before, but understanding your base and core, these are all just basic business. It
never hurts to
sales
review
tactics.
the basics. Never hurts to review the basics.
No, it doesn't.
Now, the format of the class, Scott, is going to be, and you and I have talked about this, it's going to be, you're going to make a presentation, and then the folks that are attending the class online, I think we'll probably use Zoom to do that, will have an opportunity after the presentation to ask questions of you and to engage in discussion.
And so, in a way, we're going to take that a little step further, because after each part, let's say we're talking about core values, we might stop before we move on to our next slides and just review that a little bit, have some guys take some notes and see where they're at. And yes, we are going to be doing role play. We will be doing some role play, because that is part of it. You have to understand. Now, it's difficult when it's online, but the core is going to be there. I mean, we want you to be able to feel comfortable. And we will be giving you an assignment to go out into the public, and once we get closer to the end of the class, and selling
homework.
And then
I love
giving
it.
us, giving them a homework, going out there, go sell this person, and when we get there, maybe if we have the name of the person we can talk to, and I can give them a call and say, hey, what did you like about what they sold you? How did they sell you? What didn't you like how they sold you? So that gives me feedback and how to help that salesperson understand what they're doing, right or wrong.
Right.
And it's not, you say, hey, we're trying to understand this, and who did you speak to? And I can give them a call. Hey, you had so and so in there just last week, and I'm so and so. Or teaching a course and they're following, and we're trying to understand where they went wrong or where they went right. What did they do? What didn't they do that you liked or didn't like? So there's a lot to selling, and we want to. 6 weeks is tough to hone it in, and that there'll eventually maybe be another course if this does well. Where it'll be a little more advanced, tailored to streaming and more better, not really better sales, but just looking at those, bringing in some of those guys have filmed for E3 or a film for Division I sports, or a film, guys that we can take a look at streaming that way. And then we could take a look at streaming via pay-per-view or anything else, sponsorships and or advertisers. So there's a lot of levels to this course. And we're just talking, some of them, in one of the weeks we're talking, in week 3 we're talking effective speaking. That's another big core to sales. You have to be able to explain what you're doing. You can't go into so many businesses and stutter and stammer and use a lot of uhs and thus and a lot of the interjections, and and you have to slow down your speech, even if it sounds like you're letting your mind catch up to what's coming out of your mouth, so you sound like an effective speaker.
Good luck on that one.
That's going to be a tough one. I'm going to talk to one of the professors here at the college where I work and see if she could, she teaches an effective speech course for this reason, and maybe get some tidbits and have her maybe do a one-on-one video with her and get some information that would be sharing. So it's I think it'll be good. And they do all kinds of stuff.
So the class is intended for people primarily that are coming from a streaming background, maybe a video background, maybe a photography background. Maybe they just picked this up as a hobby and it's beginning to move forward. And now they need more tools in their toolbox to take it from a hobby or a semi-profession to the real deal. And this is going to get them started. This is the basics to how do you sell, how do you market yourself and your product. And if you had to pick out one aspect of a salesman, because, face it, in this case, everybody's going to be a salesman, what's the most important characteristic of that salesman to you? What's your strong point as a salesman?
Aligning yourself to the customer.
Figuring out what the customer is and then lining yourself up with it.
Yeah, you have to. I'm a strong salesman because I have a good mannerism and way to set myself up and work with the customer, as far as talk to them on their level. Don't talk down to them. Don't talk up to them. Talk to them on their level. And that's what makes selling difficult. If you can sell people and you've never met these people before, and you come into a conversation and it could be off the wall, and you're talking to these people, and it's a conversation about something else, and you're able to communicate and pick right up just like you've been long lost friends. That's a big sales, and it makes them it already puts them at ease. And it takes their guard down from this guard that they put up of, it's a salesperson, he just wants money out of me. And once you break that wall, selling becomes a lot easier. And Mike mentions, I know how to close a deal. Well, closing the deals, we gotta get close to making the sale first before we close the deal. So we got to get.
I remember
people
working
in
at
the
a
door.
company, and one of the salesmen there was he was a classic salesman, but he was not a classic closer. And so he would sell, 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 and he would miss the signals from the buyer that says, "Hey, I'm ready to buy. I'm ready. Where do I sign?" But no, he sell, 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 and then he'd walk out without the sale because he never could close. He never could listen,
and you have to understand
see,
that in sales too.
sense when it was time to close. When it was time to close.
Right, and that is huge. Closing is a big thing, but more than closing, you have to understand who you are, what you're selling, who your target audience is, who you're advertising, who you're going after in advertising. Because even your advertisers look at who your target audience is. I mean, are you trying to target audience from male 25 to 35, 35 to 45? Are you trying to tailor audience from 18 to 25? Who are you trying to target when you're going to get your sales? And that makes up another big deal too. You have to understand, hey, I'm filming high school sports. Okay, so your high school sports, who's going to be watching? It's not going to be the kids. The kids aren't your target audience. Well, your target audience are your 24 to 35 years old, and you're 35 to 45. Those are your two demographics, your two targets, male and female, that you want to hit. So, when the hospital approaches me and they're saying, "Hey, Scott, we just built this whole new baby ward, and we want to advertise with you." Well, is high school sports really where you want to sell them to? Well, probably not, because even though people will want to advertise or will watch that, you have to understand that they're going after the 18 to 24-year-old who are having babies. They're not going after there's not very many 35 and above having kids right now. I'm not. I mean, I'm up in the upper 40s, but I don't want any more kids. So that's the last thing is I want to watch is a baby sales thing.
I want more kids. I just want somebody else to birth them. Then they can bring them to me later.
Yeah, that's it. So that's.
But let me save this sale for you. Let me save this sale for you on the hospital, because I think if you're talking about high school sports, I think a lot of alumni like to watch their games, and these are folks that have been out of high school for 1 to 5 years. So they're in college or they're just post college. And they are in that marrying age, and I think that's a huge. Now, obviously, you've done the statistics on done the analytics on your shows, and so you know the demographics of who's watching and where your strong points are. But you can change that. You can market.
But you can change it with programming and everything else.
That's right.
Kids. Don't get me wrong. We do have high school kids. And I do, where the college I work here, I do have some of the students will actually come up to me at the college here and say, "Hey, Scott, I just seen your channel. I didn't even know you had your own channel, and we were just happened to be watching." And it does happen that they come across it, and if they're known. But where I would sell the hospital is more in the McRitchie rehab units. Not like drug rehab, but like joint and knees or
old folks,
maybe skilled nursing, and old folks. Because I do have a couple old folks homes that advertise with us, because that's who's watching. We do have some 65 to 75-year-olds that are watching us on Facebook and that. So you have to understand are the demographics, and then you have to know where they're watching. Right now on my channel, we launch a video and we'll get 3,000 to 4,000 views, and even when we're going live, we'll do, even though high school sports in Michigan is you can't stream live, we can now, and that's a whole other thing right now. But the whole issue is that we need to understand where. I just lost my train of thought where I was going with this. I need to understand. I just, you know, we get to one of those things, and I just got onto something else, and I was like, I just completely lost track.
Oh man, I know that rabbit trail. Yes, indeed. Yes,
like,
indeed.
where the heck was I going with that?
All right. Well, let me. While you're remembering that, let me pitch something to you, because what you are talking about is a product that you have put together that you want to basically sell sponsors or advertising for. But what about the live streamer that comes to you and says, Scott, I want to live stream gigs and be paid to do it. I have streaming skills and I want somebody to pay me to stream. How is this class going to work for them?
This class will work for them in two different ways. One, social media. We do talk about social media for sales. We do talk about what do you charge? How do you figure up your values, your goals, what you're worth, and the importance of analytics, and then your presentation skills. We do talk about all these things. They're all different classes. We talk about effective presentation skills. We talk about
tools,
your analytics and understanding how to read your analytics. You know, we can all say Google Analytics. We can get the 3-second views from Facebook, but we all know in the industry those don't add up to a hill of beans. What I cared is to see how long they've watched, because if they came on for 3 seconds, they're not going to see. If I'm in a part of the game, they're not going to see my advertisers. You know, so if they watch for 10 or 15 minutes, then I do have the chance where they're going to occasionally come across my advertisers, and that's what the key is, to get them to view that advertisers. And when we do go live and when we do stream live, we'll have people watch for an hour or 2 hours, and it happens. You know, we'll see them come on and off. You know, they might lose connection or whatever it is. So but yeah, you're right, Rick. It is viewer minutes. That's the key, man. That is the key. You can't sell an advertiser on 3-second views. You have to sell them on the longevity of the sale, and that's what you have to build. And that's a tough thing to do in this industry. You have to build a good client base, and you have to build quality programming for people to watch. Otherwise, if it's junk programming, they won't watch. Your advertisers won't advertise with you, and you have to keep. I'm not saying you have to start at this level, but if you sell, and it's one of the things we talk about in the class, is don't oversell and underdeliver. You always overdeliver and undersell. So if you start out here and your customers know you're starting out here, then as you continue to buy and grow, they see the growth, they see how well you're starting to look and your potential, and eventually you'll get to that level where you can say, okay, now, you know what, I'm at the level where I need to be to do quality programming. Guess what also comes with it? And your advertisers have been with you for a couple of years now, 2-3 years, and watch this is, now I can charge a little bit more, because it's time for an upgrade. So.
All right, so Rich has got a question. How do you make money live streaming?
That's a tough question, Rich.
That's got to be tongue in cheek. Got to be tongue in cheek.
It is, because what's good for the goose is not sometimes good for the gander, and what's working for me might not work for others. I know it will. Will I give all of my sales techniques on how I'm making money? No, I won't give every detail. That will be for a special group, and we will do that. We will teach people how to do
super
sales.
Secret.
And, well, yeah, there's, you know, I can't give all my sales techniques a week, because there's some things that I'm doing with the Hometown Media Group that's going to be that are going to be pretty, like I said, I was just talking to Little Caesars just not that long ago. So there's things on the horizon. I'm talking to Big B. I'm talking to Pizza Hut. I'm talking to Ashley Furniture. I'm talking to some major people, and people that I've either worked for corporate-wise, or they've hired my company to do work. So I have the contacts already there. Now I'm teaching them, hey, this is what I'm doing, getting ready to start doing, and they're interested. So
okay, hold it.
They're
Time
not
out.
telling me
Time
no.
out. Time out. Stop. Where's his mic button? I got to mute his mic. No. All right. So let me try to tie this together, because I love where you're going with this. But the super secret stuff doesn't work unless you know the basics. I mean, you could
Right.
you could pop out all the super secret stuff right here, and you could give names and phone numbers of Pizza Hut and Ashley Furniture and all these others, and unless somebody's got sales skills, has got the ability to go in and analyze and prepare their marketing and their sales pitch, they're not. It doesn't matter if that person comes to their house and visits them. If they don't have the basic understanding of the sales process, they're not likely to be successful. And that's what this sales and marketing class is going to introduce people to. That's what this course is
supposed to be,
right? Okay.
Yeah, because if I just like you said, Tom, it's great. A great way to put it is I could give you a name and say, hey, go talk to Jean. Jean is looking for you to sell her.
Right.
But if you walk in the door, you give her a call over the phone, you do that cold call, and you're trying to make that appointment to even go see her, she's gonna just, if you don't know how to talk to him on the phone, to even doing the cold calling even, well, then you're already in trouble. A lot of times I don't do a whole lot of cold calling. The only time I do cold calling is to my corporate companies, because you're not sure who to talk to just yet. But the best way to get in their face, and that's what we're going to talk about, is to get in front of them, and how to look, am I going to go in a suit and tie if I'm going to a dairy farm to, bring their advertising to me?
You'll only do that once.
No. That's right. So you have to understand where you're going. We talk about territory. We talk about time management, in your sales, because all of this stuff is relevant, because you being out there doing sales, all of it is important, and you cannot waste your time. You've got to be short. You got to be sweet. You got to get your customer on your side very quickly.
All right. Craig is saying in chat, saying, all this is very good, but let's set up a role play, you and I, right now. And you're the sales guy, and I'm the guy with pockets full of cash.
Ooh, I like those guys.
And you want to get me to buy your program. Give me your best shot in 45 seconds or less.
45 seconds? All right.
45 seconds. Now think about it just a second.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah, think about it just for a second.
45 seconds to sell a program. Okay.
And let me put a scenario for you. Let's say that I am a real estate agent in your area, or in one of the areas that you want to be in, and I am already hugely successful, and I don't need your stuff to be part of my program, but maybe I do. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Give me a call. See,
Hello.
Mark,
right.
you bumped into me in the elevator.
All right, bumped you into the elevator.
Yeah.
So hey, we're just talking along, and hey, how are you going? My weather's cold up here today. It's only 5 degrees.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's
brutal.
You
need to grow a beard.
Brutal.
That's what you need to do. You need to grow a beard.
That's what I'm doing. As you notice, that's what I am doing. I am building that beard. But at the same time, I noticed that I know I've recognized you from somewhere. And
you've probably seen my signs.
Don't you do? I've seen your signs, and I started up this small TV channel right here in Hillsdale, doing some local events and
what channel number?
Well, it's on. We're not on channel number yet, because we are talking to Comcast, but we are online, and the reason we went to online is because that's the new age, and that's where everybody's going. And so you do your real estate.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you have?
Well, we got a lot of stuff. We've got a reality show, not really a reality show. We go out to local businesses in the area and talk to them about their business. And we also do high school sports. We do high school sports not only for the local high schools, but we do schools that are in the NFHS, the National Federation of High Schools. We film for them.
Yeah.
We do local city council meetings. We do a lot of local events, parades we started getting into. We get a call for a lot of different things. And I see that you have your Facebook group right there. You're online. You had a Facebook account set up. And you know what you could do with advertising with us? We can even set up a special package with you where we can actually go showcase some of those new homes that you're showing on your Facebook page, and do it for you at little extra charge, or to little to nothing, depending on what package you choose to jump on board with us. So
you have different packages.
Let me show you a little bit about. Yeah, let me show you a little bit about who we are, and here's who we are. Let me show you. This is how you find our page. We find it through Facebook, through.
Oh, we just got to our floor. Golly, I got to get off the elevator now.
Well, I tell you.
Why don't you step down here to my office with me and talk some more?
Take a look at it. Take a look at our webpage.
I'm ready to buy.
Full of information.
I'm ready to buy.
And,
sell me.
If you're ready to
sell
buy,
me.
I tell
sell
you what.
me.
Here's
Where do
my
I
price.
sign?
Here's my card. Here's how we do it: 6-month or 12-month commitment with us, and we'll get the paperwork started right away, and we'll get out here and start shooting some advertising for you and putting your houses on the market. And so there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways.
I'm signing up,
but you have to get the customer. You have to first. Doing it in 45 seconds is a tough sale.
Absolutely,
especially online.
Absolutely,
but
especially when I just throw it to you and you don't know who I am or what I'm doing or what I'm saying. I thought you did real well.
You have to get with the customer. You have to get them talking. Coming right at them, selling them something is not going to work. But getting them talking about something else and then transitioning into a sale, and starting to bring up, hey, this is what I kind of started and it's kind of doing well. Then it starts to work. And the longer you have with them, as long as you don't spend all day with them, the longer you have with them, and you might not get the first go around, you might not get that sale. I went to one customer 5 times, and I was ready to give up on him. I was like, you know what? This customer is not wanting to do anything. That 5th time I went in there, he wasn't there. Well, just tell him Scott stopped by. I got an email from him. Scott, we've been talking about you. We talked about you the last couple times. I'm sorry I didn't catch you, but we want to join and we want to advertise with you. So
awesome.
Like I said, it's. You might have to go 2 or 3 or 4 times. I mean, I had one of the grocery stores here in town. 5, 6 times even. And I went in there, it seemed like clockwork. So I'm like, oh man, he's a big grocery store. He's got 3 locations. I'm going to be able to sell him all day long. He is tough to get a hold of. Everybody's,
sure.
And you have to understand, and that's another part of selling, is understanding your competition. And we talk about that because your competition and what they're charging and how often he's running with that competition and what is he getting out of that competition. You add value to your sales. You have to add value to your what you're doing for them, what you're going to give them first off. So there's a lot of selling techniques that we're talking about in here.
These don't sound like live streaming skills at all. You haven't talked anything about resolutions or bit rates or frame rates or CDNs or cameras.
You're right.
Or any of that stuff, Scott.
A salesperson, a customer, there are a lot of customers. I went into, this is no kidding, I went into a water treatment. They sell bottled water, the water and salt. And I went into them, and they're a Culligan dealer, and I went into them and I said, is the owner here, blah, blah, blah. And she says, no, he's not. And not right now, he's in the back room. So he came back, he just happened to be coming back, and I was talking, I said, well, I'm Scott with Hillsdale TV. I said Hillsdale TV at the time. And, I wanted to kind of introduce myself to him and let him know who I am. And he happened to walk through the door, and he says, and she goes, oh, here he is right now. So I introduced who I was and started talking to him. I said, I'm Scott Pienta with Hillsdale TV, and this is who I am. This is what we're doing. And he goes, Hillsdale TV, and the guy, there was another gentleman who walked in from the back, goes, oh man, you guys, I watched my son play a game just a couple of weeks ago. He says, I thought it was great. And so all of a sudden you got that sale.
Immediately,
because
yes.
You're already
validation.
And the validation of what you're doing, because people don't know you from a hill of beans.
Right.
And so first thing he asked is, well, did you watch it? He goes, man, I watched the whole thing. He says, yes, commercials, the whole 9 yards. It was a great game. It was a good game. So getting to know that, and then it made my sale a lot easier, is because now I can transition from trying to pitch them into sales mode and how I'm going to hook them. And so that's the key, is getting that. Once you get that hook, no different than fishing. Now you gotta slowly reel them in. You gotta let it out a little bit, reel them back in, let it out. It's a little process, but eventually you'll get them into the boat. So there's a lot to sales. Sales isn't easy.
2 things it takes: It takes confidence, unshakable confidence, and it takes perseverance.
It does.
Perseverance to never, 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 never give up. Because you are going to be successful. And anything that says to the contrary is just an obstacle to be overcome. Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
It is tough. You cannot be afraid to hear the word no. If you hear the word no and you're like, okay, you know, a great show is Tommy Boy. If you ever watch Tommy Boy and they kind of doing those quick cuts, you know, when he's out there selling, he's like, let me say no. Okay, all right then. And he's out the door, you know. You didn't even give it a shot. He's like, you know, it wasn't.
He was relieved.
He was relieved. Like, all right, no problem. I'm out. See you later.
Yep.
You know, that's not going to sell you anything. You have to take that no, and that's what he did in that. And it's a great sales. That's what he took. He took that no, and that sales where he made his first sale, and he flipped it and got on the customer side. Hey, you know, why do people put a guarantee on the box? Well, I don't know. Well, then he gets him thinking, why do they put a guarantee on that box? And that's his hook. Now he's got him hooked. Now he needs to close. And now that's what he did. He flipped that. And so it's a great sales analogy. It's a funny movie. And you might all like Chris Farley, but I tell you what, that was a perfect analogy of sales. You know, first people just heard the word no, and they're like, all right, put their hands up in the air, and they're done. And in that instance, he went back and he finally found out what worked, and he was able to take that and flip it and make a sale out of it. So, getting on the customer level, getting them to understand.
Yep. And sometimes it takes a while. Some of my best customers are people that it took me the longest time to get to make the first buy.
Yeah.
And they would come back and they'd ask questions and they'd say, well, what about this? And I'd say, okay, that's the deal. And I tend to be pretty soft in my sale. I'm not a hard closer.
Right.
I'm a
right.
You know, do you want that Tuesday or Thursday closer? That's my favorite close. Do you want that PTZ camera in white or gray? Do you want the 12X or the 20X? Oh, well, you know, I hadn't thought about it. And then we move into it, and then we're problem solving. And that's a big part of my sales game is problem solving. If I can solve your problem, I've got your sale. I was talking to somebody this morning. He's like, I've already talked to somebody, and they said, you know, if I ever had a problem with this, I should call the manufacturer. And I said, well, if you ever have a problem with that, call me, because I can answer the question, because I use it every day. They're like, oh, okay.
Yep.
They said, well, will you give me my cell?
I mean, it's
And here's the other thing, is people want people they can trust. People want people that are willing to kind of go the extra mile for them. Mm-hmm. And people don't like people that feel like they'll never ever see them again. They'll get their money and then they'll disappear. Not that they want long-term relationships. They don't want you to come to their wedding, but they want you to know that they did get married.
They want you to know that you're around, that they can call, and I've always been there. You know, a perfect example is I sold a mixer and new laptop and some other stuff to a church in town here. One of the professors here teaches chemistry. It's his church, and they had this long process on how they edit the audio for radio the next week. Mm-hmm. So they can give them a short 30-minute part of the sermon. And so the way they did it was god awful. They had an old analog board, and they had to hit the recorder at a certain time and hit this button and hit this button, and it took them to edit. It took them 3-4 hours. It was incredible. And I said, look, we're going to sell you this new board. It's a digital board. We're going to sell you this laptop. We're going to sell you and a thumb drive. And that's all you're going to need. You're going to have to get Adobe Audition or some form of audio editing software. They liked Audition. And so that's what they went with. And we took, and they just called me yesterday. Hey, Scott, we're having a problem with this wireless mic. And I'm like, okay, I'm not quite sure everything was working when I left. So they said, hey, can you come out and take a look at it? So sure. I went over there today and looked at it around 11 o'clock this morning. And it wasn't even a wireless mic. It was their hearing assist. That's why they thought they weren't getting the audio. It was a hearing assist for, and they never used it. So they're like, oh, I thought it was a microphone. I'm like, no, it's their hearing assist. So, but we went through and we showed them a couple other quick steps. But Dave, the one I met, was not the professor here, but Dave is one of the people that works on the board. Dave is 78 years old. And I was able to teach him Adobe Audition, how to use this mixer and set it up, and how to transfer the stuff and get it over. And it took me about an hour and a half training with him, but he was able to do this, and he goes and takes it and practices at home. But even when I set it up, you know, he knew that I would be there. I showed him what he did. He understood it. He took some quick notes. He goes, I got it. I know. And he has no audio experience whatsoever. But he knew that he could trust me. I came out there, and then he says, hey, Scott, you know, are you charging us for this? I'm like, no, it was just a quick, you know, we're here for 20 minutes showing you guys what to do and fixing a couple little things. And he goes, well, let me buy you lunch. All right. So you can buy me lunch. So we went out and had a burger and talked for about another, you know, half an hour, 40 minutes, and just about everything. So, you know, that's what the kind of relationship you have to build with your customers. I know I can call my customers. I see them out at the golf course a lot of times. That's another good place to know customers, is the golf course. I see them out at the golf course, and the key is, out at the golf course, though, no business. You're out there to golf and have fun.
Well, and you know, you can't go out to the golf course today. There's nobody at the golf course today.
No, not today.
Or
but
tomorrow.
There is an indoor golf course. You can go to the golf simulator. So we do have those.
Gotcha. All right, so we got to wrap this up. So Scott is starting this class next Thursday. If you need more information about it, you can go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, because Scott and I are partnering on this, and go to the store, or you can send me an email at tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, or you can find either one of us on Facebook, and we are happy to answer any questions that you might have about it. The class is limited to 12 people. We can't have more than 12 because it's too many for a good discussion. In fact, we probably ought to limit this one to 8. But we haven't had 8 sign up yet, so we'll just limit it to 8. But if you're interested, easternshorebroadcasting.com, go to the store, and I'll put a link below so that you can go directly to it on the Facebook page and the YouTube page, so you can go directly to it. We also have the Introduction to Live Streaming class starting next Tuesday. We did that back in the fall, and it was very successful. And if you want to know how to get into live streaming and all the different piece parts about it, that's the thing to do too. Scotty, hang on a little bit if you will, and we'll field some questions from the folks in chat in the post show. But I'm gonna close up here and tell you this entire show, as all of our shows, has been a giant infomercial. We're selling stuff. Yes, we're selling stuff, and and the stuff we sell is the stuff about live streaming. Scotty and I are working together on this class that we hope that you will come join. It's $99 for 6 weeks, about 90 minutes a night, 8 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday evenings, starting a week from tomorrow. And you can get more information at easternshorebroadcasting.com. And then starting a week from yesterday is the Introduction to Live Streaming class, coming up a week from yesterday for 6 weeks. Same format, about 90 minutes, 8 p.m. Eastern time, so that's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time. And it's a group format, so you get to meet all the other folks in your group. And what I find is that those people tend to talk with each other afterwards and share their successes and share their failures. And so it can become a good support community as well as a learning community. The other things that we're doing at easternshorebroadcasting.com are we design and build PCs for streaming. So if you've gone through all the off-the-shelf stuff and you couldn't get the sweet spot for somehow, give us a call, and I'd be happy to talk with you about that and what your needs are and how we can best fit your needs. We've got 2 on the workbench right now, one going to a church in California and one going to a business in Pennsylvania, who said, you know, we gotta have live streaming. We gotta have live streaming in-house. We also represent PTZ Optics, the PTZ camera folks. We represent Magewell, the capture card folks. We represent Marshall Electronics, specifically for the POV cameras like the one we're using right now. We love our X keys. Love the X keys. Getting a bad reflection off of them because I've got too many green keys there, but there's nothing like having vMix set up with X keys to automate a lot of functions. And we also represent vMix, of course. That's our kind of our mainstay. We, at least in 2016, we were the largest vMix reseller with support in the US. Not sure, haven't heard the numbers from 2017, but we did 30% more vMix stuff in 17 than 16, so we're hoping we're still good to go there. In fact, I think we must be, because the guys at vMix invited me to come out and work with them at NAB in April in Las Vegas, which is going to be a ton of fun. So if you're planning on going to NAB, make sure that you come by the vMix booth number 1. We don't know what the booth number is yet, but it's months away, so it doesn't matter. But also, make sure your stay includes a Tuesday night, because Tuesday night of NAB, we're going to do a Streaming Idiots meetup. And so all the folks that are there are going to meet up. We're going to meet at a live streaming studio, so we can tour the studio, and we're going to have giveaways, door prizes, and good refreshments. Not going to cost anything. We've got sponsors covering all of that. So make sure that you put on your calendar for April 10th, I believe, which is Tuesday night at NAB for the Streaming Idiots meetup. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Please come to Facebook and join the Streaming Idiots group, because we're talking about streaming practically 24/7. That's where the discussion about this Intel anomaly popped up first on my radar this morning, early this morning when I was looking at Facebook, and people were lamenting this problem. So we're going to keep our eyes on this problem and see just exactly how bad of a problem it is. Anyway, that's the show for today. Join me next Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern for another edition of Streaming Idiots. And now it's I need the drum roll. Do I have a drum roll here? I do have a drum roll. But I reprogrammed my X keys today, and I'm afraid that the outro portion of the reprogramming is not quite right because I didn't have time to test it. So I'm going to say goodbye, but I might not really go away. So I'm pressing the outro button. Pressing the outro button right. It's that one right there. Ready, set, go. Let me press it harder. Maybe that if I press it more than once, maybe that'll make it work. Okay, suffice to say is we're not going to get out of this show that easily. So let's go here, and maybe we'll get lucky. Actually, I want to blame all this. I do need to blame this on somebody. I need to blame this on Martin K, because Martin K sent me this great new graphics for the opening and closing of the show. But the problem, of course, is that I didn't get a chance to get them all programmed right. Actually, I was in the process of doing that, and I couldn't get it all done. So let's see if we can do it manually. Fingers crossed. See you next week.